Hi, PK's braided beauties and kings and queens. You guys, I just wanted to show you how I start my day. Anytime I do a client, I always spray down my chair. I always spray it down before and after a client sits in that chair. I am very, very clean, and I think it's important nowadays, you guys know what I'm referring to keep everything wiped down as best as possible. You guys see all of my Lysol, Clorox, and this is a hand sanitizer that they use in the hospitals. So when a client comes in, I'll have them to wash their hands. And then, of course, I'm sweeping up in between each installation. But this here is the purifier, and it serves about 200 square feet. But isn't that filthy? Absolutely filthy. So I'm going to change that out, and I always do that. I always have the purifier in there as well. And I am putting that clean filter in so that we can have some fresh air in there. But I recommend if you're in a small, especially if you're in a small space, to go ahead and get you some kind of air purifier. And so this works for the space that I'm in, and I enjoy it as well as you guys. I know you guys appreciate, the extra precautions. It still is needed. I also like for it to smell good. I think that's important when you're in any space. But here's the first client. I am doing a takedown on this client. She came in today for a takedown, and that's it, just a takedown and a detangle. Well, actually, the detangle I discovered as I was taking her hair down that she needed it because she left her installation in too long. So you guys, please don't leave your installations in too long. 6 weeks should do it. And I know that sometimes after the 6-week period, I know that sometimes the hair looks really good and it looks like you can extend that wear for a couple of more weeks, but queens, I don't encourage that. So take it out at 6 weeks so you can give your hair a break. If you are having thinning hair or alopecia, I really recommend that you only leave it in for 4 weeks, maybe 5 the max, but really a month should do it because you have thinning hair and you have more of a situation going on there. You don't want to leave in your install that long. To me, crochet braids is a super protective style outside of you just wearing your natural hair 2-strand twist or however you band 2 knots or however you want to wear your natural hair. I think crochet braids are a good way to do your protective style. But you guys, you have to remember you still have to take care of your hair underneath that protective style. And I believe this is why a lot of ladies are losing their edges and, continue on with great hair loss because they're not doing trims, treatments, and just not giving the hair a break. Crochet braids is great, but it's still a braid. It's still a mild tension on the scalp, but you just don't want to leave them in that long. So here, as I was going through her hair, she left it in too long, like I said before, and I believe she was close to 8 weeks on her installation. And she has real it doesn't look like it's thin, but she really has thin, soft hair. And so I had to go through with a big comb and then come back with a small tooth comb so I can really get in there and get those small little knots. She had little knots in her hair. And that took a little bit longer to take out, a little bit more TLC for her. But eventually I got all those small knots out of her hair. So she was just coming in for a takedown and a detangle. And then she's going to do something else with her hair. She's going to give her hair a break. And queens, I'm telling you, I can't express enough of you guys giving your hair a break. Because I'd say, for me, after you do 2 protective styles, you want to go ahead and give your hair a break at least 2 weeks to 4. Me personally, I give my hair between 6 to 7 weeks break. and I wear my half wigs, or I'll wear my natural hair, but mostly I'll wear my half wigs. And because as you can see, all these many videos I've been putting out, you have been seeing me wear my cap or my hat. And that is because I'm giving myself a good solid break. And in between giving myself that break, I TLC my own hair, protein treatment. I already had a nice trim, so I don't need a trim. I didn't need a trim. And I go ahead and shampoo my hair personally every other week. And I think that depends on what's going on with your hair personally, as far as how often you shampoo your hair, because really, queens, you don't need to shampoo your hair every doggone single week. If you have oily scalp, if you have dandruff, if you have situations going on with your scalp, then yes. But so that's another thing, you have to learn your hair. Once you learn your hair and get into a good hair routine pattern, then you'll be able to say, hey, I only need to wash it maybe every 2 weeks or every other week, and you just figure that thing out. So I am finishing up her cornrow pattern right here, and as you can see, she has a lot of spacing, a lot of gaps in her hair. Now, when it was out, it looks like she had a lot of hair, but as we braid that down, you can see that her hair is thin and it's gappy and there's a lot of space. So I'm going to go ahead and braid her down, and then I'm sewing her down. So I like to go ahead and sew down and anchor down the tail of the hair so that it just stays in place and it doesn't unravel over time. But here I'm going to put her net on, queens. I'm showing you guys how to put that net on, and she is going to have not a full net, but it's like a half net. So I'm going ahead and putting that on, and I like to use the net with the bigger holes. The smaller holes are okay, but the bigger holes work better for me. And so I am just making sure I have that cap on her hair firmly, and then I'm going around the sides and going around and tacking that hair in. Now you don't have to do a perfect tack down for this situation, because when you come back to install the crochet braid hair, that is another way of tying down that mesh net as well. So you just want to make sure that you hit the basic spots for the mesh net sew down. And then once you do that, I'm going to show you how to cut out this pattern here. So you want to make sure you tack down each side, and then you want to make sure that you tack down the front. And as you see, I'm doing this. I'm going to run that string, and you'll see right across the front. And when you run it across the front, where there really is that big gap and no space, you want to run it the long way so that the string kind of just goes to the next braid, so that you're able to hang some of that hair on that string, because there's no space there, there's no braid there. So and that's another tip, you can just hang it on that string to give the illusion that there is a braid there, but there's really not. So you see where I'm cutting, and queens, you guys, I accidentally cut the string that I just put on there, but that's okay, because I can come back and fill that space in. See the string hanging right there? I accidentally cut that. That's supposed to be all together and running, but that's okay, because I can take the hair and anchor that down with the hair. So we're still good to go. Now this is your rack, and she is wearing Presto Curl by Freetress. Presto Curl by Freetress 1B. And I love that hair because Presto Curl is like a cousin or a sister to Go-Go Curl. Go-Go Curl is it's a bigger curl pattern, but it's the same pattern but bigger. But the only thing about Go-Go Curl is that people, you either love it or you hate it, because Go-Go Curl tends to tangle. It really does tend to tangle. And I hardly ever never wear that hair, but when I do wear it, I put it up in a ponytail because I know it's going to tangle. So I don't care if it tangles or mats up because I have it in a ponytail, and I normally keep mine in a ponytail. But if you guys like that curl pattern, then Presto curl is really what you want to do, because Presto curl doesn't tangle as much as long as you do your maintenance. If you keep up with your maintenance, you will be great with this hair. You will love this hair. So you guys see how I'm doing around the edge of the hair and how I'm installing that in the edge. So I'm putting it right on the edge and right where that black string was hanging, and then that black string goes all the way around the front. And you want to, in between, you want to put that hair on the black string as well as the net. And so that will cover and fill in that space. So there's a lot of different techniques you can do in order to get a great crochet braid installation. It's really not an easy thing. You have to kind of figure out how you want the hair to lay, where you want the hair to lay, and you go in that direction. And once you do that, and you know, just practice. And over time, you know, you'll know how to lay it, where to lay it, what to do, how to fill your spaces in, how to fill your gaps in. You know, if you need a full net or half net, or if you need no net, so you know, or partial net. So you can figure it out as you go along, but you have to practice. You have to practice. You know, it is a skill, and there are techniques when it comes to installing the crochet braid. And you know, I don't do the knotless crochet braids. I stick with the traditional crochet braids because that works for me and it works for my clients, and I have not had any problems with doing the OG traditional way. So you guys see how nicely that this Presto curl is installed. You don't have to double knot it. One knot will do it, and you're good to go. So you're looping it in, and then you're going ahead and doing a knot. Now it looks like I'm double knotting it, but I'm really not. I'm just kind of just looping it in, opening it up, and then tying my knot, and that's it. You know, that's it. That's all we're doing right here. But you see, if a client or a person wants to wear it in a ponytail, you have to make sure that you are filling in the perimeter, around that perimeter at the nape of the neck. You want to make sure that that is filled in, that there's no gaps in that situation. And so you guys make sure you do that. And you always ask the person, hey, do you want to wear it up in a high ponytail, no ponytail, you know, and or if the client wants a short style. Now, if the client wants a short style, like an asymmetric style or a bob style, then that back part, you don't want to space it as much, because I have a spacing video. So you don't want to space it as much because you're going to come back there and cut that into a bob style, and then you're also going to debulk that. So you kind of want to fill that back area up because you know that you're going to cut it. If you're not going to cut that hair, then you want to go ahead and space it, and depending on what kind of curl pattern you have, you may need to go ahead and debulk it as well. So I do have a debulking video out there as well. So you guys, I hope all this information is really helping you guys to get a really good polished, clean look with your crochet braids. So right here, see how I'm going through and debulking that, you know, taking that out, thinning that out a little bit for her. And she wanted to have just a little bit past the shoulder, just a little bit, like shoulder length. But isn't that beautiful, you guys? That turned out so freaking nice. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? That is just wonderful. And then so after time, after like a week or so, it'll start to acclimate and fall and just look even more prettier. You see, I can put a clip up there or put some kind of decorative hair piece up there where I was holding her hair. That is so freaking pretty. Look at that curl pattern. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So you guys, my hours have changed Wednesday through Saturday. You guys make sure you make that appointment because I'm only doing 2 to 3 people a day. So you guys go ahead and get in there. I am closing shop. Thank you so much for viewing this video, and please comment, subscribe, and like. You guys be blessed and have a great week.